You know, over the weekend, MKBHD called me dream killer, and I would say, yeah, that sounds about right for this episode. Want tech news in a way that doesn't suck? Subscribe and turn on notifications cause I said so. All right, hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Front Page Tech. Of course, the show that gives you all latest tech news from one geek that is me to another that is you. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Just kidding, I don't care. Also, I know things. I know a lot of things. A lot of information is in my head. So I'm just going to give it to you, okay? And then you do with it what you will, because my brain hurts. I'm just going to give it to you, and then you decide what you wouldn't do with it. Good start. All right, let's go. All right, so first up for the day, story numero uno. Let's talk about iPhone SE, the not small, the big, the plus. iPhone SE Plus. So ever since we first got this 9 to 5 Mac article about larger size iPhone 9 and iPhone 9 Plus, which now we know is called the iPhone SE. So this one, the bigger one, will be called iPhone SE Plus. Ever since we got that article, we've been like, okay, where to be though? Where is it? I, of course, was then able to confirm with my sources as well that yes, there is an iPhone SE Plus. But obviously, it wasn't ready. We didn't get it with the iPhone SE. I told you it wasn't going to launch with the iPhone SE. And now I have more information for you. So if you wanted an update on the iPhone SE Plus, here you go. Here's that. But it's not like good news. So it's still happening. We're still going to get it. It's still a thing, but not this year. I'm being told by multiple sources that this thing isn't going to launch until next year, Q1 of next year. More specifically, sometime next year in March. So it's going to come out around the same time that this SE came out, or at least it was supposed to come out. Obviously, it was supposed to come out in March. It was delayed. We got it this month. Either way, next year, March, iPhone SE Plus. So this time next year, we're not going to get another refresh to the current SE that we just got. We'll just get the bigger one. And I'm told that Apple's pitch for that is going to be the typical, like, oh, you guys like the SE so much that we made a bigger one. It was made bigger now. There you go. Courage. Also, more bad news, A13 chip. Yep, let's all just take a second. Moment of silence here. Yep, you heard that right. Next year, SE Plus, March, still the A13. I'm sorry, why am I apologizing? I didn't do this to you. I'm just giving you the information, okay? I'm sorry about the A13 thing. All right, so next up, let's talk about that EverythingApplePro iPhone 12 leak thing. If you saw his video last week, and I think he's posting another one today, you saw this. Everyone has been talking about these renders for the iPhone 12 from EverythingApplePro in conjunction with Max Weinbach. Now, the starting point for these renders, everything is based off of this. This is a 70% completed CAD file. The rest of the information provided for those renders and those leaks in his video were from Max Weinbach and his sources. Now, mainly in these renders, what you see, what you're paying attention to, is that smaller notch, and then what a lot of attention is on right now, a smart connector. And they theorize that maybe that smart connector represents that Apple Pencil support is coming. So this is the part where I break this all down and crush all your dreams. First of all, this starting point that they used right here, this original 70% completed CAD file, yeah, this is actually from December. It's an early December prototype. And actually, it's not the first time we've seen it. I know most of you probably don't remember at this point, but back in January, Japanese site Makotakara shared 3D prints of the iPhone 12 lineup based on this exact CAD file. Like, if you look at this CAD and the renders from EverythingApplePro, and then you also look at the 3D prints from Makotakara, they're based on the same thing. And actually, I think that Philip in his video did mention that these CAD files are from originally January, which is close. You got it really close. They're from December. Even in those Makotakara 3D prints, it shows what everyone assumed was a smart connector. We talked about this back then too, but of course I know people forget quickly. So let's talk about that smart connector. First of all, it is most certainly not for Apple Pencil support. In fact, according to all of my sources, there is no feature flag in place for the foreseeable future that would enable Apple Pencil support on an iPhone. So, like, probably never. But also, about that smart connector, there isn't one. I'm being told that there is no smart connector on any of the iPhone 12 devices. But seeing as this is an early December prototype, early December CAD, it actually does line up with other information that I have. That in the future, Apple does plan on implementing a smart connector, but it's actually for a portless iPhone. It would be a way to introduce sort of like a MagSafe charging capability on a phone that won't have a lightning port, or any port for that matter. That's what portless means. And I mean, when it came to portless iPhones, when we talked about that, a lot of people's questions are, well, how can we just go straight to portless? Like, what? That doesn't give people an option, like they just have to buy a wireless charger. This actually sort of puts a bridge over that. This gives us sort of a transitional period into a wireless future.
Courage.
Now, about that notch, this was all based on word of mouth from Max's source. So unfortunately, they kind of had to do a lot of guessing here, but thanks to Jern, no have to guess. Here you go. Here is the actual legit hardware layout from the manufacturing side of things of how those components of the notch will actually fit. As you can see, nothing is really smaller per se. Things just got moved. So this is what the notch would look like if they just moved the earpiece up into the bezel. Which means, yeah, the bezels are actually a bit thicker than the Everything Apple Pro render was showing. But there you go, all the missing pieces from the Everything Apple Pro renders, all the areas that they sort of had to guess, are no longer missing pieces, and we no longer have reasons to guess. You're welcome, internet! Remember that whole dream crushing part? Yeah, here comes that part. Though these are totally legit details from a totally legit prototype, I mean, you're getting information from Max Weinbach and Everything Apple Pro, as well as information from my side of things and my sources, so this all lines up and it is a legit prototype. It's still important for all of us to keep in mind that these are details from a prototype that was worked on months ago. And as we mentioned here on this show just a couple weeks ago, according to my sources, Apple is just now finalizing the prototypes for the iPhone 12 lineup. So until we see a CAD render, not from December or January, but from April, that's when we can act like things are finalized. And until we see a CAD file from this recent April timeframe, then we should probably just assume that a lot of the things we're seeing on these early prototypes are likely not to be in the final result. Yeah, sorry about this. I don't mean to hurt you. The way this works is the sources within manufacturing, they aren't referring to these devices as iPhone 12 or any marketing name really. I mean, that's for the marketing department. Everyone in manufacturing is working with these devices with code names and prototype names. So though these are details of a very real prototype, it's hard to say of which prototype. I'm just being honest with you here. The design that you're looking at right here in front of you on your screen could very well be the design of the iPhone 13 or 14. The moral of the story is we don't actually know. I just dumped a ton of information on you guys. I'm sorry about that. It's yours now, internet. Do with it whatever you would like to do with it. But if you do want my personal opinion, I'm thinking that we can expect to see something that looks more like this. At least in terms of like a notch and bezels, I think these are more realistic expectations to have. But I'll tell you what, and it's very rare that I say this, I would actually like to be wrong about that. I would be pleasantly surprised. Listen, you're smart. This isn't your first rodeo. You know why a VPN is so important, so vital, especially with a lot of us using the internet way more than usual right now, since we're all trapped inside. Well, with over 2,000 different servers in 140 plus countries, PureVPN allows you to be untraceable and protected on literally any device. PureVPN even offers a dedicated IP for you for optimum protection. They keep you safe and let you follow your own rules, not be a slave to regulations, especially right now. And the best part, during this time especially, we are working with PureVPN again again to offer you an option to try their service first and purchase it later if you find it useful. The trial right now for our viewers is for 7 days and costs just 99 cents. Listen, I don't know about you, but that's kind of too good to pass up on right now. So click the link down in the description to learn more, and a huge thanks to PureVPN for supporting this community again. Okay, people, that's it. That's the show. Hopefully you liked it, you learned something. If you did, hit the like button. If you hate my stupid face, that's cool. Lots of people do. Hit the dislike button. That works too. If you're new here, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.